If you could know where your opponent was going to hit their shot before they hit it, that would be a good thing. That's what I'm going to talk about today. Andre Agassi was a great tennis player. He tells a funny story about when he used to play Boris Becker. I'll put a link to that video in the description box below so you can go watch. Becker was a big young German. He had a powerful serve, and that serve would cause his opponents trouble. At some point, Agassi figured out that Becker was giving away where he was going to serve that ball before he served it. Agassi said that just before Becker served the ball, he would stick his tongue out, and the direction that he stuck his tongue out in would be the direction that he was going to serve that ball. Knowing this, Agassi was better able to return Becker's serve than most other players because Agassi knew where that ball was going. Agassi said there were two big problems having this information. One, he didn't want to overuse it. He didn't want to give away that he knew where Becker was going with his serve, so he only used this knowledge at key times in a match. The second thing about having this information, he didn't want to tell Becker that he knew. If he did, Boris would change what he was doing. Still, I think it was hard to keep that secret. The moral of that story is if you can start to read your opponent's body language, how they're positioned or how their arm is set, you can get an early read on where they're probably going to hit that ball. My version of that story is I had played a guy here who had a pretty good serve a couple of years ago. He had the ability to put the ball down the center line, into that corner, and he could also put it really short just beyond the kitchen into this outside corner here. I'm pretty quick for an old guy, so I didn't have much trouble covering the court laterally if he would serve deep down the center or deep down into the corner. When he served this short ball though, that was a whole different story. The first time he served this short ball to me, I had two thoughts. One, wow, that's a really good serve. Two, I need to figure out what he's doing. I started watching his service motion very closely. I wanted to understand what his normal service motion looked like when he went deep, either to the center or down into that corner, and then what did it look like when he went to this short corner. And because I started watching for his body mechanics, I could pick up what he did differently when he served deep versus this short ball. And generally what he would do was his normal service motion, he would be down ready to hit and he would have the ball in a certain location. When he wanted to go to the short corner on either side, just before he would serve, he would move that ball about 4 or 5 inches. When I saw him do that, I knew where that serve was going. I was ready. In a game then, as soon as I saw him get ready to serve and move that ball, I knew where that serve was going. And like Agassi, I didn't want to give away that I knew. So I would wait as long as I could before I started running up to get those shorter balls. I was able to handle that serve much better because I had the information ahead of time about where that serve was going. Try to start reading your opponent's body language, understand their tendencies, and this will give you a clue about where they're just about to hit that ball. Try to read your opponent's body language, and you can do this in several places when they're on the court. For example, understand whether when they hit a forehand they're square to the net or sideways to the net. And then once you understand that, start to look at their body orientation. Are they facing this way or facing this way? Or if they stand sideways, are they going to swing like this? Or is their orientation across the court like that? Start to understand what their normal is and then start to look at their body orientation. In general, your opponents will tell you, they will show you where they're just about to hit that ball. Here's another one. Both you and your partner are back on that baseline and you hit a ball up to the person up on the kitchen line. How big is their backswing? If they have a bigger backswing, it kind of implies they're going to keep you back with a deeper shot. If they have no backswing or very minimal backswing, it may look like they're just trying to dump this ball short over the net. If you can read the difference between those two, you may be able to understand I need to stay back because they have a bigger backswing, this ball is likely coming deeper, or I need to get a head start and a jump on trying to get up to this kitchen line to get the shorter ball if it looks like they're going to hit this ball short because we're both back. Here's another one. If you play against people who like to lob, generally they will telegraph, they will show you that they're just about to lob. They'll almost always go through the same motion with kind of the same ball all the time in similar game situations. Start to look for their body motions. What are they doing when they're hitting those lobs? And you will pretty quickly start to understand what that looks like. Then, as you see them start that motion, start backing up a little bit in anticipation that you're going to get a lob. If they don't lob it deep, then you're already back and can probably hit an overhead. If they do hit it deep, you've already got a head start on backing up to run down that lob. I could give you more examples, but that's probably good enough. The moral of the story is start to read the body language of your opponents. Understand their tendencies, start to understand what their body orientation looks like, their mechanics look like when they hit various shots. If you can do that, you'll get better at it. You'll understand where those balls are most likely coming. And you can take some chances and go, I think I know where this ball is going. I'm going to get in position early. Sometimes you'll get it wrong. I get it wrong sometimes. Start to read their body language and see if you can pick up on little details that will tell you where they're going to hit that ball.